Hey, what's up, YouTube? As you all know, a very cowardly, pathetic, and just unhuman tragedy happened, or act happened last night, which resulted in a huge tragedy for all of the folks who lost many loved ones in the attacks that happened all around France last night, including Paris. And an estimated 128 folks were murdered, numerous people injured, and just the whole country, and I probably think the whole world is traumatized by, these vicious terrorists that did this very cowardly and very ruthless crime to humanity. But we've been through this before, probably a lot worse, back in 2001, even though all these attacks are bad. And it's just, I'm not surprised. ISIS has claimed responsibility for this attack, or these various attacks. One happened at a concert hall in, I believe, Paris, which resulted in 80 deaths. A lot of people dead. Another one happened at a soccer stadium where there was a match between Germany and France. Sorry if I get this name wrong. You can always correct me with comments, but I believe it's pronounced Stade de France. If I got that right, sorry if I didn't. But that was one of the places. Les Petites Cambodge, and I believe it's Bataclan. I'm probably dead wrong with those names, but those are the locations in which these terrorist attacks took place. And regardless if I got the names wrong, but this is just very frustrating to hear about. And fuck ISIS, man. That's all I could say about them. Fuck ISIS. But what this video is really about is, and I don't think France will go down this route, but the solution is not declaring war with a specific country that harbors these type of extremists like ISIS or any other extreme group of people. That's not the answer. Putting your country through what we, the U.S., put our country through in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan are not the answers. Are not the answer to tragedies like this. Ever since 9/11, I think here in the U.S., a lot of people live very paranoid lives, very fearful lives, and cannot even trust the milkman. It's that bad. That gives them their milk every day, or even the mailman or whoever, like it was prior to it. We have a system and a bullshit mainstream media that spews lies and puts fearful thoughts in our heads, and that's not the way to live. That's not the way to answer this type of, cowardly act from these pieces of shit. And, they deserve whatever rotten thing happens to them. I do agree with that. But if you live in fear, if you put in place a system very similar to the Patriot Act, which we put in place shortly after 9/11, where you allow your government to suppress you and to invade on your civil liberties, that's just really playing to these terrorists' favor. That's just playing into their hands. They have won the war psychologically, and this is what this is all about. They want to disrupt your freedoms, your peaceful way of life, the best way they can through these brutal attacks. And the best way to counter this is to strengthen your bond with one another even more, at a greater fashion, to truly unite, not through a systematic way, but through a spiritual way. That means every community in France, every community around the world needs to come together. We need to get to know our neighbors. We need to communicate with each other the best way we can. We need to have town hall meetings, do community activities. We need to do the total opposite of what the terrorists want, how the terrorists want us to live. We need to come together, in peace, work with each other, watch each other's backs, an eye for an eye. Very similar to a neighborhood watch program. But this is the time for everybody around the world, good-minded people, to come together and work with one another to counter this type of bullshit. We can't just sit back and depend on the government to do everything for us, to wipe our asses. That's not the way to live. Depending on the government, having something in place similar to the bullshit Patriot Act is not the solution to the problem. It's going to take right-minded people to come together, work with one another, police their communities the best way they can. And I do believe in, right to bear arms. I believe that a person should have all the right in the world to defend themselves and their family or even their neighbor. But I think it's time for communities around the world to come together, unite, truly unite, and counter this type of bullshit. Do our best to prevent this stuff, prevent this stuff from ever happening again. It's going to happen, unfortunately, but we could really minimize it, and we could be a better global community, not just here in the U.S., not just in France. It's time for communities to come together, really come together. It's really time for us to get to know our neighbors, and grow a bond with one another. I need to do it. You all need to do it. This is the best way to counter this shit. Go out, have fun, be yourselves. Don't let these people get into your heads. But yes, you have to really, bring about, the necessary security to make sure your neighborhood stays safe. You can't just depend on the law enforcement. Work with the law enforcement. Have a good relationship with your local authorities. But it's up to you too to bring about the necessary security in your community. This is just a time for people to really come together. I mean, truly come together, not just for a day, but every day, and work with one another. It's time to really separate our very petty differences and really work with each other on what we truly agree with, and that's a safe community for everyone, to be right-minded and live in peace. I think that's what any right-minded person agrees with, regardless of your politics, regardless of your religion, regardless of your income. If you believe that we as a human species should live in peace, then I don't see how you cannot work together. With your neighbor, with your teacher, with whoever, with your local law enforcement. I don't see how you can't do that. But just my condolences to the people of France, and this really pisses me off. And this is Liberal Rod. I'm sorry it's been a while. I've been busy on my other channel, Steeler Rod. I want to post more videos. I need to find more material, but I just had to, let out my emotions and my, what I think is a solution to the tragedy that happened last night in France. But anyways, this is Liberal Rod, and be sure to rate me, comment, subscribe, like this video, even dislike this video. But anyways, everybody have a good day.